I would like to officially welcome everyone to the 7th annual St. Baldricks event. Two years ago, we were 5 days away from the 5th annual St. Baldrick's event, but then COVID hit and we were unable to host. Last year, the event was held via Teams, and this year, finally, we can have our senior class in person for this assembly. I'm Jane Custer, and along with Candy Martinez and Mackenzie Morley, we will be hosting today's event. At this time, I would like to introduce Candy Martinez.
Cancer is a horrible disease that affects so many. Here are some things to think about. Every 2 minutes, a child is diagnosed with cancer worldwide. The average age of a child diagnosed with cancer is 6. 1 in 5 children diagnosed with cancer in the US will not survive. Because of the treatments they had as kids, more than 99% of childhood cancer survivors will have a chronic health problem, and 96% will have a severe or life-threatening condition. Despite these facts, childhood cancer research receives just 4% of the annual budget from the National Cancer Institute. A little over 1.9 million new cancer cases are expected to be diagnosed in the US in 2022. About 10,470 children in the United States under the age of 15 will be diagnosed with cancer in 2022. Childhood cancer rates have been rising slightly for the past few decades. Because of major treatment advances in recent decades, 85% of children with cancer now survive 5 years or more. Overall, this is a huge increase since the mid-1970s, when the 5-year survival rate was about 58%. Because of these medical advances, we ask of you to please donate to St. Baldrick so more can be saved each year from this terrible illness. I would now like to introduce Mackenzie Morley.
We have all heard the quote by Martin Luther King Jr., "I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed." We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. St. Baldrick's was founded on this premise, a dream of giving back. In 1999, 3 friends decided to give back to others because they were so successful in their own lives. They asked each other, "How will you give back in return for your own good fortune in business?" They came up with the idea to shave their heads for donations to raise money for kids with cancer, and the idea of St. Baldrick's was founded. On March 17th, 2000, St. Patrick's Day, the first event was held. The goal was to have 17 people shave their heads and raise $17,000. Instead, 19 people shaved their heads and raised $104,000. In 2014, St. Baldrick's had a record-breaking year, offering $27.2 million in grants to childhood cancer research. Because of research supported by St. Baldrick's, 7 years ago, the FDA approved a new drug that drastically increases the cure rate for high-risk neuroblastoma patients. It's only the third approved drug in 20 years made specifically for kids with cancer. We support this organization because 82% of the money donated goes directly to research, 16% goes to funding, and only 2% goes to management and general use. Since 2005, St. Baldrick's has offered over $312 million in research grant funding. Since we started hosting this event, we have raised over $50,000.
St. Baldrick's is one of Oxbridge's biggest and favorite events. Last year, Ms. Vigiano decided to pay it forward by cutting her hair to donate. This was a significant milestone in her life, being a cancer survivor, and we, as the Oxbridge community, were fortunate enough to celebrate her milestone with her. This year, we are excited to welcome a member of the class of 2022, Bijou Joasis, to share her story with us.
Okay, so my story may or may not be one you are familiar with. My name is Bijou Joasis, and I'm a current senior. I've been a student at Oxford since my sophomore year. Over the years, I've been involved in many extracurricular activities. However, I did this while in pain. pain that many did not know I was experiencing. My story started when I was in 8th grade. It was spring of 2018 when I started to feel a throbbing pain within my left hip. The doctor diagnosed it as growing pain. Then the pain turned into a lump the size of a pea, which was diagnosed as a knot in my muscle. During this year, I wasn't really worried. I assumed all was okay. Freshman year, I started to get sharper pains that limited my ability to walk. I was training heavily for track and field, where I competed in high jump. I was extremely excited this year because I qualified for state in the most competitive track district in Florida at the time. I was expected to receive 8th place, which was an amazing opportunity, but the doctors were concerned because my lump was getting bigger and caused more pain. Ultimately, I was unable to perform in states, but was able to support my team. I was disappointed, but I had to listen to the doctors. I needed to reduce compound movements and rest my body. Sophomore year, when I arrived at Oxbridge, went by pretty much the same. It was continual pain in my hip, and the pea-sized bump continued to grow. It was now the size of a golf ball, and the doctors continued to say it was just growing pain. In January 2020, the occasional pain while walking turned into full-body cramps. I started to miss school days due to not being able to physically sit up in my bed. I couldn't walk, and I couldn't stay asleep due to the throbbing pain from the bump on my hip. It was generally the hardest time of my life. I went from training 5 hours a day with track and 2 hours of theater work to being completely bedridden. I felt as if my entire life was stripped from me. This lasted for around 2 weeks until February when I went to the emergency room due to pain. The doctors began the process of multiple scans. With another 2 weeks, I had completed 6 medical scans. These scans were to determine what the mass were composed of, how deeply it would set in my body, did it interact with other organs, and did it affect blood flow in my body. In March 2020 came about the world shutting down due to COVID. Okay, so the medical pro of COVID, which is hard to say, was that it gave my body time to rest, and it allowed me to do so through Oxbridge's transition into virtual learning. But the con of COVID was how it affected my treatment and diagnosis. The hospitals were only running necessary procedures and tests. Though I was an emergency, the doctor didn't want to risk me getting exposed to COVID. So on one hand, I was resting, but on the other hand, I was stressed because I wasn't really completely sure what was wrong with me. Junior year, my lump kept growing. As COVID constrictions were lifted at the hospital, the doctors were finally able to run final tests to figure out what was going on. Over the past 3 years, they gave me 3 different diagnoses prior to determining what I have. I have desmoid fibromatosis tumor located on my pelvis and up into my oblique muscle. There are tumors that are non-cancerous growths, but while they are considered non-cancerous due to the tumor not spreading to other parts as cancer would, desmoid still attacks like cancer by pushing itself into nearby organs. They occur mostly in the abdominal muscles, arms, legs, and in connective tissues in your body. Some tissues are slow growing, so they could be removed with surgery. However, I had a fast-growing tumor. Fast-growing desmoid tumors are usually treatable with surgery as well, but mine unfortunately isn't because it's too large, pushes on too many organs, and is placed in a location that can easily paralyze me. Since surgery is out, my options were limited to radiation or chemotherapy. In January 2021, my doctors put me on the largest dosage of chemotherapy that had been recorded in the limited researches out there. When I started chemotherapy, I was also informed that this diagnosis will be with me for the rest of my life. I will have to continue be on and off of chemotherapy due to the high likelihood that this tumor may return. Desmoid tumors are well known for coming back and being more aggressive than they previously were. I was scared to hear my diagnosis. I won't really lie about that. Knowing that the rarity of it means that this will stick with me forever was something that I still have to deal with. However, my silver lining was that I don't have cancer, and I now know what I'm battling. I'm now a senior, and for the past 404 consecutive days, I have been on chemotherapy. January 22nd, a little over a month ago, marked my 1 year on chemotherapy anniversary. For those of you who may not fully understand what chemo is, it's a treatment used to stop the mass rapid production of cells. Chemo is a difficult treatment that doctors tend to steer away from unless it's the only option, and for me, it was. There are 2 main types of chemotherapy. There is generalized chemo, which affects your entire body, and there's most commonly used with cancer since cancer cells can spread throughout your entire body. And there's also localized treatment, which targets one area. My treatment is localized, and it is in the form of a pill, which chemotherapy does come in, and I take it every morning at 8 a.m. Desmoid fibromatosis is a tumor that only 900 people in the United States are diagnosed with each year. To put that into perspective, less than 1% of the US population has this diagnosis. Now, many of you may be wondering, if I'm not a cancer patient, what is the point of me sharing my story with you at St. Baldricks? St. Baldricks is not only about cancer, and cancer is not all about hair. That's why I chose to speak to you all today. St. Baldricks is an organization that is able to do research for rare diseases like mine. I am on chemotherapy because there is little researches out there for my diagnosis. Through supporting St. Baldricks, you can help other adolescents like me who have heard their doctors say, I have never heard of your diagnosis, or my personal favorite, I don't really know what to do. You can also help adults be able to be there for their family and live their life to their fullest. You can also help children have a childhood. I am happy to see you all here today for St. Baldricks and hope that you have learned what it really means to support and be there for others. I would like to say a few things before ending off my speech. I would not be able to handle this without the support of my friends, team, and family. Thank you to my friends for supporting me no matter where we both are. Having a friend who is willing to pull out of work and attend infusion appointments really does mean a lot to me. Or having friends who can simply push me around in a shop when the symptoms get too bad is something that I'll always cherish. I thank you guys for that. Thank you to my team and coach for being there for both in and out of training. You are truly the light at the end of my tunnel multiple times. You're all my family. Thank you. And lastly, I would like to thank my mom for being here today with me. You have gotten me through a lot of tough times, and your strength has given me my own strength to push through. I love you. Okay, super quickly, I would also like to thank you all who are shaving off and donating your hair today. It means a lot to people who have gone through chemotherapy and don't know if they have the chance to have their hair grow back. Thank you.
You can stay. Bijou. Thank you, Bijou, for sharing your story with us. Please accept the Certificate of Courage for helping us raise an awareness for children's illnesses. Children should not only survive, but thrive. St. Baldrick's is funding research to find cures and give survivors long, healthy lives. At this time, I would like to introduce Amani Atoki. Amani is here to talk about her company, the Wig God Collection, which she started a year ago in Mr. Simon's entrepreneurship class.
Thank you so much. You got this. Hello, everyone. Before I introduce myself, I would like to start off by thanking Ms. Vigiano. My freshman year, hearing her story, it touched me, and it just showed me that I can overcome anything in this world, and I thank you for that. I also want to thank my mom for being here today. Not only did you call off, but you are a very important factor in my business, and I don't know what I would do without you. So to briefly introduce myself, I am Amani Atoki, and in my sophomore year, I started my wig business with the inspiration of Mr. Simon's class. We had a class project that day, and it was basically to create a business. And at that time, I really didn't know what I wanted my business to be because I had a business 2 years ago, and I just stopped doing it. I lost interest. But then Mr. Simon said, your business must be your passion. So then at this moment, I'm thinking, well, what am I going to make? What am I going to create? And then it hit me. I love wigs, and I love to see others happy. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but then I found my business. At this point, I knew I wanted to do something that set me different from other hair companies. My company offers wigs for everyone, like those who suffer hair loss conditions or those who just wants to feel the special touch that hair brings. Starting the Wig God Collection provided good quality human hair for everyone. What makes my company different is its purpose. My purpose is to bring good quality hair to everyone, allowing everyone to feel special. The most important part of my business is seeing my company change others' lives. This is why today, the Wig God Collection will be donating one of our most popular wigs to St. Baldrick's fundraiser. In addition to this donation yesterday, after sitting with a teacher after school, I was just telling this teacher, which they want to remain anonymous, so I'm going to try not to give hints, but I was telling this teacher that this is my passion, and I want this donation to be the start of many donations. I want to donate to kids that, unfortunately, whatever the condition is, wants a wig and can't really afford it. And because they asked to remain anonymous, I will not say who it is, but they offered and donated a wig. So that would be 2 wigs today. To that teacher that donated, I really would like to say thank you for supporting my vision. You did not only donate this wig because you wanted to see me happy, but you did it and I did not have to ask. I also like to thank my family members that donated in and helped me play a big part in this fundraiser. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amani. We are working with St. Mary's Children's Hospital to find 2 children who will wear these wigs proudly.
At this time, we have some awards to hand out. So when I call your name, join us up front to be recognized. Mr. Matson, come on up. You've been committed to the mission of St. Baldricks for 7 years now, and the national organization would like to recognize you and welcome you to the group known as Knights of the Bald Table. May you continue to faithfully persevere in the mission of St. Baldricks to conquer kids' cancer. Thank you.
Thank you.
We would also like to recognize the top 3 fundraisers. So raising $580 is Ale Lugo Cortez. Raising $730 is Chris Lawrence. And our top fundraiser, raising $3,100, is Colin Wade. In a short 3-week period of time, we have raised over $5,000.
St. Baldrick's not only does cancer research, but they also help kids with other non-cancer related illnesses like our friend Bijou. St. Baldrick's has many mottos they live by. Bald is beautiful is one of them. The hair that is cut today and is long enough, we will be donating to wigs for kids. They give a wig free of charge to children 18 years old and under with a medical hair loss condition. Even though some of you do not have hair long enough to donate, shaving your head spreads awareness and solidarity to those who are battling an illness. Last year, we were not able to shave or cut our hair at our event due to COVID restrictions. So many of our staff and students chose to shave or cut their hair prior to the event. However, this year we get to see our shavies in person sharing this experience with us all. If you have already signed up and are not in the gym currently, please make your way to the gym now. Thank you to those who have already signed up to cut or shave. Your generosity will not only be remembered, but it will also provide a child with a cancer a wig and make them feel like they're not alone.
In honor of Bijou and her battle, we ask that you donate to St. Baldrick's and cancer research. If you'd like to donate, you can use the Oxbridge Academy Venmo at Oxbridge Academy and put St. Baldrick's in the comment section. If you can give $1, please do so. If you can give more, please do so. Behind every dollar raised, there's a kid fighting for their life, so every bit helps. While our participants are shaving their hair or cutting it to donate, we'll be selling some souvenir t-shirts for $15. If anyone is interested in purchasing a shirt, you're welcome to come to the gym, buy one, and return to your classroom. We are honored to have Caleb and Allie as our barbers today. Thank you for donating your time for this wonderful event. I'm done.